Hello, many thanks for joining us yet for another interesting episode of the Candy Talk. My name is Evan Sokinwell. Of course, I'm joined again by Professor Herman Manyora. Prof, how are you?
Wonderful.
Welcome.
Wonderful.
Yesterday, or was it yesterday or today morning, as I was traveling all the way from where I stayed to this place, I met a professor on my way here. I wonder what's the name. Actually, I can't remember well, but it was like, oh, send my sincere regards to Professor Herman Manyora.
Thank you.
That was Professor Okwaka or something.
Oh.
I think so. I'm trying to actually remember the name of that professor.
Whoever he is, thank you very much.
Yes, of course, he told me to actually bring his sincere regards and say that he's always there watching us and focusing on what we are doing here, definitely.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Here we are still going on with assessing the situation of the country. And the last time we were talking here, definitely we were wondering what is actually happening and how far Kenyans are supposed to wait in order to see any change that is happening in the country. Now, my question today, therefore, would be, a number of Kenyans are wondering, to what extent is religion in this country a political card? To what extent can it influence the decisions that are being made in the country?
You know, throughout history, there are men who have used religion for political propaganda successfully. Some of them disastrously. I think the current regime is enlisting religion in his crusade. Ni Mungu. Wale wako na system, na deep state, si tuko na wananchi na Mungu. It works. It works. And the evidence is Ruto is the president today. It is still working because they are putting on a show every Sunday. Thanksgiving, God, it was not for God. A poor man from the village selling chicken would not have. So it's working. It works. You know, religion touches people the soft part of their being. And once you touch somebody there, he can surrender and give you the go-ahead to do what you want to do. So it's working. Yes.
A number of Kenyans have had questions with the kind of, actually right now it's like every Sunday, these people are like, okay, it's like there would be some sort of a prayer session, but then it's more of political session, more of politics playing all out in some of these things, and people are wondering, what is wrong with these people? If at all you've decided to go to church and perhaps worship God, as religious as you may assume to be, must you play politics in that?
But it's a platform you have created for yourself. Then why would not go ahead and use it? You are creating that platform.
Do you
with
think
your Bible in hand, going to church, taking care of the church leadership. They give you an opportunity to address the people. You must use it to your end, which is politics. And Kenyans amuse me. Kenyans have said all manner of bad things about Moi. They have painted Moi like he was a devil himself. The worst dictator this country ever had. People have said all manner of things. I disagree with most of the things they say about Moi. I don't think Moi was an angel, but like another Kenyan. Therefore, like another Kenyan and another leader, he had his faults, but he also had very good things. But to people, Moi has been painted like the devil himself. But Moi was associated with the Bible. Today, the same people who vilify Moi are busy not noticing that Ruto has come with the Bible in the same way Moi came with the Bible. So, human beings are creatures that are forgetful.
There are those who believe that. Now, in the first place, let me ask, do you think that the kind of religion kind of card, rather political card, as it was used by Moi, do you think, by Ruto this time round, do you think it somehow propelled him to where he is, and should he now then continue using it, then perhaps it could help him retain...
It served him, I've said that. And it's busy serving him now. Because Ruto is a master of narratives. Even when the opposition comes up with something, he's able to deflate it using the power of the word. And he makes it even better by embellishing it with religion. With God. So the message sinks very well. Look at this tax thing, for example. He's over-smarting the other side by the way he's handling the issue. Yeah. He's good at the narratives and very good at communication.
There are those
Becomes
people.
better with God in between. Throw in the God here and there.
Okay, there are those people who would say that right now with the kind of rallies that the Azimio brigade is actually holding, that the president and his brigade are also trying to use this kind of national or rather interdenominational kind of prayer sessions every Sunday to counter the narrative of Azimio on the other side. Do you buy that kind of idea?
Yeah, because if you are the president and begin calling political rallies, people will wonder. You are calling political rallies to counter opposition rallies, and this is not an election you are supposed to be working. How do you go with the position in the same ditch of politics instead of working? So now, to escape that accusation, you hold the same rallies, but in the guise of religion. Yes, it works.
So it's the only remaining option for the president right now. That without those prayer sessions, those kind of stuff, then they'll not find any kind of a legal forum to counter the narratives of.
It's very difficult for you to call political rallies if you are the president. Just 1 year into your term, you begin organizing political rallies, and you are the government. How? People will find you crazy. So, religion comes in handy. You attend this crusade, Thanksgiving, this, prayer day, this. Now nobody can accuse you of going into politics too early.
But there is a special one that has been organized. I think this Sunday they will be in Nakuru. The Deputy President, Rigathi Gachagua, said that for those people who tend to have a problem with them being religious, he wants to save you the count actually, because he says they'll be there for the 52 Sundays of this year, something of that kind of sort.
But Moi was there every Sunday, and every first item of news was Moi alihuzuria AIC, Mlimani, what. So, but that didn't make Moi what he was not. Is there a Sunday news didn't start with where Moi was in church? It always started where Moi worshipped, Kabarak, what. That's how every news on Sunday always started with where Moi worshipped. And you would see it on TV. So what Ruto and Gachagua are doing is not new. So the question they must ask themselves, even with that religious, appearances and everything you want to call it, how did Moi's reign come out? Did people say because Moi was religious, he did good things? Do people say Moi was good in the first place? Most people say he was bad. Why then are they saying Moi did good things and he did that because he was always in church? So, the problem with these kind of things, they don't last. People see them for what they are. It does not matter how many Sundays Gachagua goes to church. They can even go every day. They are religious evangelical churches in town every lunchtime fellowship. They can even attend those ones. But at the end of the day, people will judge you not by how many times you went to church, Gachagua and Ruto, by what you did to ease the pain of living, of the cost of living. What did you do to make food affordable? You can go to church from Sunday to the next Sunday every day. But if people are hungry, if the price of maize flour, unga, continues to rise and not drop, if fuel is where it is, if electricity bills are going high, it does not matter how much you go to church, how well you sing in church, what kind of Bible you hold, how high your voice is when you are in church, Rigathi Gachagua. It does not matter how many Bible verses you quote. So long as the people to whom you quote those Bible verses have their children in the house and they have not gone to school, it won't last and it won't serve you. Because the people, a hungry man, you cannot begin to sing for a hungry man. He may listen to your songs, get entertained, but at the point he's about to faint because of hunger, will tell you off. Yeah.
No, no, a number of Kenyans are actually now questioning the position of religion in matters governance and perhaps public policy. And now in this now that it's all together in this kind of stuff, it's always believed that perhaps the religious leaders, our religious leaders, can actually see what the government is doing that is wrong, and then actually stand up for the people and say, no, we are going to stand by our word. You are doing wrong on this other side. Now, with this kind of interaction that we've seen between the government and the religious leaders, do you think any religious leader right now in Kenya can be brave enough and face the government and then tell them, no, here you're going wrong, kindly do things this way? Or perhaps just assume that normally when the president is, I was wondering, when, for instance, the president goes to one of the churches and then he starts talking and so on and so forth, and some of those leaders, is there any religious leader in this country whom you think can stand firm and tell them, no, you're wrong on this, no, you're wrong on this, no?
I think the days when the church played a big role in matters state, in the promotion of democracy, good governance, human rights, I think those days are gone. The days of Alexander Muge, Ukulu, Gitari, Njoya. I think we don't have that category. And I think, save for the Catholic Church, many of these churches are complicit, are being used. And it's not strange. Whenever a country has a dictatorship or a bad or a demagogue or a person who wants to manipulate society, they always find support from people across the board and from institutions. The church has always been recruited into conspiracies, into attempts to subvert that which is good for society. So it won't be starting in Kenya. What we know that the average Kenyan leader is a prostitute, and they can do anything for money.
That's a strong word.
No, but that is true. Why are they? Why can they ask me? Most of our leaders, church religious leaders, they are easily bought. During elections of MCS and MPs, we see it in the home, where we come from. They are easily bought. They are given a little monies. In this election, church leaders were bought cars and all manner of things. And it was in public domain, and it's not one side doing it. Don't be cheated. Don't think it's only Ruto who perhaps you could have done. This was across board, across political parties. They know that if you want to reach the people, sometimes you do so through the church. So you get the pastor and buy him a cup of tea, buy him a suit. Yeah, it's always happening. But you can't blame the church leadership, because that's what Kenyans are. We have become people who can do anything for money. We don't have values. We don't have a stand on anything. Mature people make decisions like children. They support that what is not right. They know this is not right. Even in the villages, you have a dispute with a neighbor over land. People who are there who knew where this land was, where the boundary was, they have been given 200 shillings. They are saying it is a society without values. And the church is not making any better. Because the church is just moving the same direction with the rest of us. Yeah.
But those who believe that the most gullible Kenyans are the faithfuls in those churches and everything, and that is the kind of route that the current regime is trying to exploit.
It is true that the flock will listen to their leadership, but not. You see, again, the problem with these things are short-lived. If what you are telling the people is not founded in truth, if what you are trying to push for is not just, it cannot be sustainable. No. Only that which is founded on truth and promotes justice can last and is sustainable. So you can get these quick gains by mesmerizing people, talking nice and, being demagogic about your approach to politics. But it will not last. Because you're not founded on truth. You say things you don't believe. They are not true. And they do not promote good governance. They do not create a just society. They cannot last. They have never ever lasted anywhere. They can serve you in the short term. You can become president, you can be president for 5 years, for 10 years, but they are not sustainable things. Because at the end of the day, that which is not true does not stand for long. No. That's unfolding. It collapses. And in our instance here, in our case, even if you make people cheer and dance for you, but when they go home, they are hungry. For how long will they dance? They will not even have the strength to dance for you. They will be too hungry. Some of them will even be beaten by their children. Why have you been attending a rally of somebody cheating you and we have not eaten in this house? We have not gone to school.
Okay, now finally, Prof, as we wind up this, for a staunch Christian, of course, our deputy president says he's one, the president as well, and of course, I can't recall any other politician in this country who's actually paraphrased so many verses as compared to the president, actually. Honorable William Ruto. Now, for the kind of leadership that we have right now, and you see what is taking place in the country, of course, a number of people are accusing him of witch hunt and going after the first family. Do you think that perhaps the president could just, for once, be realistic and true to the word that he actually proclaims, and therefore stop some of these things, and then say, now that we are here as a country, then this is the right direction to do? Can the church now play a role here in ensuring that no, we are not supposed to be doing this as a nation, we are supposed to be doing this as a nation, so that we go this direction? Is there any kind of line that we can draw between our leaders as Christians, and now when we come back to the real action of what should be done?
You know, I'm not religious, but I know forgiveness is the hallmark of Christianity, and I'm sure Islam also. Because without forgiveness, the world, they say an eye for an eye, everybody in the world will be blind. If you cannot find it in your heart to forgive those who wronged you, you have no business saying you are a Christian. Because you are being Christian and religious and a man of God is put to question. If you cannot forgive those who harmed you, those who wronged you, then you cannot be a Christian. At least for Christians, I know. I'm sure for Islam itself. That you cannot commune with your God, be a man of God, if you cannot forgive. The Lord's prayers given to the disciples by Jesus say, one of the, if you paraphrase, forgive us for our sins as we forgive those who sin or transgress against us.
Definitely.
The world without forgiveness cannot be the world. We will kill each other. We will crush each other. So forgiveness. And therefore you cannot claim to be a Christian. And you go all out for your enemies of yesteryears. In fact, I've always advised, when you leave the person who wishes you well, bad, ill, a person who even attempts to harm you, if you ignore them when you are in power, you hurt them more. Yes. You hurt them more. Yes. Moi is a typical example. The stories we have heard about things that happened to Moi. When Moi took the Bible, after eating the Bible, becoming president, there's a man called Mungai who we are told used to harass Moi. He was the provincial police officer in Rift Valley, former Rift Valley province. We are told he was found escaping. He was arrested somewhere on the boundary of Kenya and wherever, Ethiopia or Somalia. And then the Moi was told, these are stories we hear. They could be true or wrong. Moi said, bring him back. He told him, what's your problem? Why are you leaving your family? Continue with your life. Me, I have nothing against you. That is more painful to somebody than even, because if you go for me, if I have wronged you, I can answer you back. I can fight space and energy to fight you, to respond. But if you ignore me, and I know I wanted to harm you, I frustrated your effort when you are my deputy president, I can feel it more. And Ruto had started very well. When he gave Uhuru that appointment, I said, this is an intelligent man. He should have continued along that path of ignoring the wrongs that were perpetuated against him. If they were perpetuated, I don't know.
Do you think the DP would have taken that lightly?
That's the way it should have gone. That is much better. At the end of the day, it yields better results than trying to go after somebody. No, because revenge has never helped anybody. It doesn't ever help. It has never, honestly. Never. Throughout history, wars of revenge, a king takes over, his brothers want to take his kingdom, he sets out to do this and the other, he consumes himself. You will always be consumed by the fire of revenge. And I don't think you are going to be the first one to successful revenge. Revenge sets things in motion which will finally affect you more than the ones you are trying to revenge against. So it's not a good option. It has never been a good option.
Definitely.
I've read enough history to know people who are frustrated when they wanted to become kings or this and the other. And when they took over, they set out to revenge against those who ignored, against those who brought their enemies together. In fact, the best option is to bring your enemies close to you. The best example of Abraham Lincoln with that cabinet of rivals. Yeah, bring them together. You know, you shock them. Mandela rendered Buthelezi harmless by surprising him one day when he left the country and said, not my deputy, but Buthelezi, the guy of Inkatha Freedom Party, the Zulu, who was harassing Mandela after he became president. You are acting president. You disarm your enemies in that manner.
Definitely.
You like in school. And I'm sure people like Rigathi and Ruto, they have been in school, they know. Stubborn students were always given leadership by the school administration. Or you didn't go to school, you saw it.
Definitely, I saw that
It's an age-old tactics. It works. So, even Ruto, just calling Raila, you disarm him. Kwisha. Because what will he tell the world if you are a Ruto and you have stretched your hand and he refuses? What will he tell the world? He will find no support across the world. Say, yes, Ruto, there could have been something with the elections. But if he's saying, let us meet and talk about this country, including the elections you are talking about, and you refuse to go. So, I think bringing people closer to you, even those who wronged you, is a much better approach than trying to hit them. Hit them, you satisfy something small in you, but you don't benefit much.
Definitely, there you have it. We are here gauging and looking at the place of religion in this country now that it has been used as a political tool in every election that this country is engaged in. And of course, you're not going to just brush off the impact of religion in a country such as Kenya. Well, ladies and gentlemen, Prof, they say that politicians in this country have quoted actually all the verses in the Bible, save for where Zacchaeus had returned all that he had taken from the poor.
The Jubilee year.
So that Kenyans are saying, but we are hoping that our leaders are not going to use religion as a tool to wink the common mwananchi here, but then they're going to serve us all. And as Prof has said here, kindly put off this petty stuff and let's move ahead as a country, because revenge will not help us. Till we do have this conversation again, have yourself a very lovely day. My name is Evans Okinyi.